Accommodating all minds, designing inclusive work environments for neurodiverse talent abstract. This article discusses the importance of embracing neurodiversity and accommodating neurodivergent individuals in the modern workplace. The article argues traditional workplaces assume a singular definition of normal that marginalizes the 15 to 20% of the population with conditions like autism or ADHD. Through research and casework, the author found neurodivergent job candidates are often screened out or struggle not due to incompetence, but because of a mismatch between their cognitive patterns and conventional workplace structures. The essay makes the case for recognizing neurodiversity as a competitive advantage by leveraging unique skills like attention to detail, pattern recognition, and hyperfocusing. It provides strategies for accommodations like minimizing distractions, flexible scheduling, emphasizing strengths, and fostering understanding. A detailed case study illustrates how targeted accommodations improved retention, productivity, and satisfaction for autistic aircraft technicians. The article aims to guide progressive organizations to go beyond compliance and view neurodiversity as a strategic means of differentiation. As a workplace and organizational development consultant with over 15 years of experience helping companies build high-performing, diverse and inclusive teams, one topic I've been passionate about exploring is neurodiversity in the workplace. Through my research and work with various industries and sectors, I've seen firsthand how outdated assumptions and a one-size-fits-all mentality have marginalized neurodivergent individuals, despite their value and potential contributions to organizations. Today we will explore the importance and benefits of accommodating neurodiversity, along with practical strategies companies can adopt to create truly inclusive work environments. Rethinking normal in the workplace. The concept of neurodiversity proposes that developmental differences such as autism, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, dyslexia, and other conditions should be recognized and respected as natural human variations rather than deficits that need correction. Armstrong, 2010. At the root of neurodiversity is the understanding that there is no single, normal, way for a human brain to function. However, our workplaces have traditionally been designed around rigid structures and expectations that privilege a narrow range of cognitive styles and skills. This sets up neurodivergent individuals to struggle navigating social rules and organizational processes not tailored to their needs or strengths. When I first began researching neurodiversity, I was struck by how much unrealized potential was being lost due to this lack of accommodation. Studies show up to 15 to 20% of the general population is neurodivergent in some way. Yet the unemployment and underemployment rates for individuals on the autism spectrum or with ADHD, in particular, far exceed those of their neurotypical peers. Wu et al. 2015. Wei et al. 2014. After interviewing recruiters and leaders at various companies, it became clear to me that many neurodivergent candidates were screened out or struggled to advance not because of actual incompetence, but rather due to a mismatch between their divergent cognitive patterns and conventional workplace structures. Neurodiverse individuals were being judged by what was seen as lacking or deficient according to societal norms, rather than what strengths and unique skills they could offer. This realization prompted me to think more critically about ableism and bias in the hiring process as well as day-to-day operations of the typical workplace. I began advising clients to embrace a culture of neurodiversity by understanding different minds may simply process and operate in alternative yet equally valid ways. The key, I argued, was focusing less on perceiving differences as problems and more on designing accommodating systems matching the varied ways talent of all kinds can thrive. Beyond compliance, leveraging neurodiversity as a competitive advantage. While many companies have introduced policies to comply with disability laws regarding neurodivergent job candidates and employees, their efforts often stop short at reactive, check-the-box solutions rather than proactive, strength-based accommodation. In my view, the most progressive organizations will go further by recognizing neurodiversity as an untapped source of competitive advantage. Extensive research has found neurodivergent individuals often possess unique cognitive abilities highly valuable to modern work, including exceptional attention to detail, strong pattern recognition skills, innovative problem-solving approaches, and the ability to hyperfocus for prolonged periods on narrow topics of intense interest. Ellison, 2013. Kirby, 2015. For instance, autistic traits such as intense focus and honesty without filters are well suited for quality control roles in manufacturing, whereas those with ADHD may shine as dynamic problem solvers able to brainstorm innovative solutions. Rather than perceiving neurodivergence as a burden to minimize or manage, organizations can proactively design roles and work processes around these cognitive strengths. For instance, companies like SAP have launched neurodiversity hiring programs matched to roles well aligned with profiles of candidates on different parts of the neurodiverse spectrum. They strategically leverage perceptual abilities that may otherwise be seen as limitations according to conventional paradigms. Meanwhile, technology providers including Hewlett-Packard Enterprise and Microsoft have created internal neurodiversity networks and mentorship programs cultivating neurodivergent talent from within. Beyond compliance, these initiatives recognize neurodiversity as a talent pipeline supplying competitive advantages if roles are tailored to diverse processing styles and individuals are supported with suitable accommodations. When I consult with companies seeking to introduce similar practices, my advice emphasizes assessing current and future roles for where neurodivergent strengths could create unique value if positions and processes are adapted appropriately. I also stress cultivating an inclusive culture where neurodivergent employees feel comfortable disclosing any needs and participating fully without masking their inherent cognitive wiring or processing differences. Concrete strategies for accommodating neurodiversity to move beyond awareness and get concrete. Here are several strategies I recommend to create truly accommodating and inclusive work environments leveraging the spectrum of neurological diversity, provide structure and minimize distractions, offer quiet, private spaces for focused work and limit open floor plans with constant noise and movement that can overwhelm sensitive neurodivergent employees. Provide clear expectations, schedules, checklists, and visual task boards outlining daily priorities for colleagues needing structure. Promote flexible working arrangements, allow for flexible scheduling. Remote work options and adjusted hours accommodating sensory sensitivities or challenges with time management for individuals with conditions like autism and ADHD. Permit leaves of absence or reduced hours during periods of emotional or sensory overwhelm without penalty. Emphasize strengths over deficits. Conduct strengths-based reviews focusing on how colleagues' divergent processing styles uniquely contribute rather than deficiencies requiring fixing. Create development plans nurturing innate talents like hyperfocus, attention to detail, or outside-the-box problem-solving rather than trying to reshape neurodivergent cognition. Foster understanding and belonging. Educate all employees on neurodiversity and how colleagues' conditions manifest to prevent stigma. Form neurodiversity employee resource groups promoting social support and communal problem-solving of workplace challenges. Utilize communication preferences. Allow preference for email over phone calls, which can be overwhelming for those overly sensitive to auditory stimuli. Permit note-takers in meetings or brief pre-meeting discussion for colleagues needing extra processing time. When implementing these types of accommodating practices, I stress both top-down endorsement and grassroots collaboration. Executive understanding of neurodiversity's value combined with input from neurodivergent employees on their own accommodation needs creates working partnerships optimizing inclusion. Case study: leveraging autism in aircraft maintenance to bring these strategies to life. Let me share one illuminating case study from my consulting work. A major airline approached me seeking ways to improve hiring, onboarding and retention of autistic technicians for their aircraft maintenance operations. Upon assessing their facilities and roles, it became clear positions requiring intense visual attention to highly detailed systems and procedures were well aligned with profiles of autism. However, the bustling airport environment and unpredictable scheduling created overwhelming sensory barriers. We worked with the maintenance team to map out role requirements apart from surrounding distractions. Next, autistic employees provided input on which accommodations like noise-cancelling headphones, flexible schedules or fidget toys would help them hyperfocus on critical tasks. Supervisors also received training on autism traits and strengths to provide nurturing the skills and perspectives diverse minds brought. Regular check-ins shifted to acknowledge progress fulfilling objectives over interpersonal interactions, which can be draining for autistic colleagues. The results of these targeted accommodations were striking. Attrition rates plummeted while productivity and attention to finesse details soared, directly improving safety. Word of this success has since inspired several other carriers I've advised to hire more autistic technicians using a similar strengths-based accommodating model. This case highlights how recognizing neurodivergent talent as a strategic asset and making small adjustments can reap big rewards of higher retention, job satisfaction and business outcomes for all stakeholders. Conclusion: after over a decade researching and advising on neurodiversity inclusion, I believe the businesses poised to truly thrive in our evolving economy will be those embracing neurological diversity as a path to competitive differentiation, rather than limiting their talent pools based on outdated notions of normal. Forward-thinking leaders will look within their neurodivergent communities for untapped strengths that can catalyze new innovations if roles are adapted to varied cognitive profiles. It is my hope this essay provides practical guidance and an evidence-based case for progressing beyond surface-level compliance on neurodiversity. Our workplaces must move from perceiving neurodivergent minds as problems requiring fixing, to instead focusing on proactively designing inclusive, accommodating systems where talent of all kinds, including the roughly 15 to 20% of colleagues with conditions like autism and ADHD, can equally contribute and feel valued for their authentic, divergent selves. An inclusive culture of belonging celebrates diverse minds as valuable human variations, not deficiencies or burdens. For any organization truly committed to diversity and optimization of their full talent pool, embracing neurological diversity should be a strategic imperative.